is Thursday, last day before we go officially e-learning. I'm gonna send a copy of this out to you later. It's just a schedule of the day that you can fill things in. I'm hoping if you can print it and just have it with you, it'll be much easier for you to stay on track now that everybody's going to be e-learning for the next 2 weeks. So hopefully that's a good thing. The plan for geometry is the video and the assignments will now be posted first thing in the morning because I'll have time to do that. You're going to follow along with that, do what you need to do there, and then the last 15 minutes of class, you will have a Google Meet with me. So if you're in first hour, we're meeting at 8:45 using the banner in your Google Classroom. If you're in third hour, we're meeting at 10:15. If you're in fifth hour, we're meeting at 12:30. And if you're in eighth hour, we're meeting at 1:45. So that's the last 15 minutes of your class. Again, 8:45, first hour, 10:15, third hour, 12:30, fifth hour, 1:45, eighth hour. Now be cognizant of it that if you don't show up to the meet, you will be marked absent for the day. So come, turn your camera on, say something, have questions. Let's make it actually useful. Okay, but changing gears to this. Pull up this assignment from your Google Classroom. I think it's labeled triangles, givens, and new statements. And you are going to duplicate what they have done here in the first box. You're going to write the givens, what's actually been marked. We've got the two right angles marked, so we know those are congruent. We've got these two hash marks here on the segment, so we know those are congruent. Then, what else do you know is congruent, but isn't actually marked? Okay? We know that JG is congruent to itself because of the reflexive property. So they wrote by the reflexive property. All right, I want you to take 10 or 15 minutes and actually do those. Pause the video. Hold on. I'm going to give you the answers in a minute, but I want you to do it on your own first. So pause the video now. These two segments in our first one were marked as congruent, and the hidden piece of information was these two vertical angles. This is wrong. These letters don't match. So make sure you fix that. It should be angle ABE and angle DBC. Okay, these two back-to-back triangles. We've got the angle Q's marked congruent. We've got the two diagonal sides marked congruent. And that hidden piece was the NQ side that was shared. Information on this one was actually marked. The two parallels don't help us directly with the triangles being congruent. So, but they do give us the other angles. Angle RUS and angle TSU are alternate interior, and then side SU is shared by reflexive. Okay, for this one, we've got the two segments on the top and the bottom that are marked. We've got the angle W and the angle Y. And if you just put W and Y for this one, totally fine. There's only one angle W and one angle Y. But the vertical angles, the angle X's, there's two different ones of those, so you have to use all three letters. For the last one with the rectangle, we have angle A marked congruent to angle C. You don't need the B and the D because those are actually split among the two triangles, so they're not helpful. But then all the things that we know about rectangles. The top and the bottom are congruent, the left and the right are congruent because they're rectangles. And then the DB is shared. Okay, once you've gotten those corrected, we're going to go into the proofs, and we're going to do 2 of those proofs today. Two proofs we finished yesterday, so those notes are on a different video. We're going to scroll down and do this one here on the left. I start by marking what you know. We know that P is congruent to R, we know that QS is perpendicular to PR. And then looking at it closer, what do we know what's not really there? We know that QS is shared, so it has to be the same on both sides. We know that these two angle Qs are both right angles, so they have to be the same because they're both right angles. So now we have three things, which looks like we're going to have an angle, angle, side relationship. All right, I'm going to start by just writing the statements, and I want you to try to fill in the givens. Okay. Let's see, angle PQS and okay. Go ahead and pause right now. So now, hopefully you filled in the justifications. These first two were both given. The second one, we know that those are right angles because we just had a statement that said they were perpendicular. So it's going to be definition of perpendicular. And then we just had a statement that said they were both right, and since they're right, they are congruent. All right, and then we are congruent, the triangles themselves are congruent because of angle, angle, side. This next one, we're not going to do. We don't have all the skills to do that one. So go ahead and scroll down. Okay, we're going to mark on this rectangle one what we know. We know A is congruent to D. We know these are perpendicular, which means they have to be right angles. And we need to prove the two triangles that we're proving are overlapping. We're doing ABC and DCB. So what else do we know about them? We've got two angles. We need a side because angle, angle, angle is not a thing. Well, there's this shared side right here. Right. So I'm going to give you this justifications, and then you're going to pause and write the statements. Are all your completed justifications? Take a couple of minutes, fill in all of those statements. Go ahead and pause now. Okay, so let's fill them in. Obviously the givens, you can fill those in for me. They're just copied from above. Definition of perpendicular means that we have right angles. So we've got angle ABC is right. Angle DCB is right. And because they're both right, they're congruent to each other. The reflexive property is that side that is shared. BC is congruent to BC. So then we have our three congruency statements. I have a side congruency, I have an angle congruency, and that first given had another angle congruency. So now the triangles, let's see, what is ABC, are congruent to each other. Okay, D, C, B. Okay, so that's it for notes. Tomorrow, I will see you the last 15 minutes of class at the meet using the banner on the top of your Google Classroom. We'll talk about whatever was assigned and any questions that you have. I still will be in office hours today, Thursday, at 2:15.